going on YouTube? This is Evolsaurs85 here. Doing a quick little tournament update for the first week of the March 2012 format. So this is where everyone is experimenting with the new shit, with the new ban list, and figuring out what they're going to play for the next couple months until Galactic Overlord comes out. So I decided to spend the first week playing Evolsaurs, and I gotta say, I absolutely freaking love this deck. I went X1 in 5 rounds, and it did so much better than I actually thought it would, with actually being my first week of playing it in locals. It's such a different experience playing it one-on-one with somebody when you can make reads and figure out kind of what they're doing, and not just playing it on freaking DN. So, absolutely love the deck. I'm going to keep on playing it. Probably take it to regionals in Charlotte later on this month. And, yeah, absolutely freaking love it. So, let's talk about some of the highlights of what happened during the day. So, round 1, I play against a new version of Teledad, and I 2-0'd him. So, he won the dice roll, and round 1 he set some back row and set a monster and passed. So after that I heavy stormed him, and I actually main decked 2 Shadow Imprisoning Mirrors because our meta is heavy Inzectors, and we end up having 5 people playing Inzectors today. And yeah, I didn't play Inzectors one time during the entire thing, but Shadow Imprisoning Mirrors helped against Teledad. So I ended up drawing Shadow Imprisoning Mirror in the first hand as well. So I heavy stored them, set my Shadow Imprisoning, and Evo Force with an Najasho into Lagia, and started attacking. So a little bit afterward, he scooped and went into round 2. So, didn't side against him because, of course, I already had the best side deck in the side deck against him in main. So, we kept on going. I made Lagia again, and he ended up getting rid of Lagia and went into his own Utopia. So, with the Rabbit matchup, Utopia is a big problem because Lagia and Dolka can't get over this guy. So, what happened is that he summoned his Utopia, and I had an Najasho in hand, and I drew Econ. So what I did was set the Najasho, play the Econ, and he let it go through. So tribute the Najasho, gained control of his Utopia, and then because of the mechanics behind enemy controller and Najasho, I could special summon an Evolsaur. So I special summoned Volcano, and got a Serato back from my graveyard, and then made another Lagia. So, on top of this, so I attack with Lagia, and attack with Utopia. And, he's like, okay, that's fine, cool, I'm going to get my Utopia later on in, I'm going to get it during the end phase. Well, what he didn't know is that he didn't know I was playing Chaos 39, so I used his Utopia and exceeded into Chaos 39. And so after that, he it was just pretty nasty. So after that, going to the next turn, I set a Westlow and didn't attack his face down because I had no clue what it was and everything. So, during the next turn, I flipped the Westlow, got a Serato out, and I Econ'd the Serato and took control of his face down. I don't know why I Econ'd the Serato, but I just had a feeling. End up his face down was a Spirit Reaper. So I ended up taking a Spirit Reaper and exceeding it with the Westlow into Giga Brilliant. And he scooped right after that. So I don't know why I made that call. I just had for some gut feeling that it was a Reaper face down. So ended up being the best call. So like I said, a 2-0'd him. Next matchup was Frog Monarchs. And he 2-1'd me. Or actually, I 2-1 him, and he all he could do the entire time was sit and recycle his rodent totems and treeborns and all that kind of bullshit. And once I got a Lagia down, and it's pretty much like making the best calls with Lagia. Like, if you make the right call with him, then you win. If you make the wrong call, then you lose. He's honestly a very hard exceed to play with, but once you start playing with him and you know what calls to make to use that negation, then he's absolutely just amazing. The third matchup was my only loss. It was to Chaos Dragons. And he too owed me. And to be really honest, that's an absolutely hard matchup to deal with, because that deck just spams so many big monsters out on the field, and if you don't have the answers to them right then and there, you lose. So he ended up getting red eyes on me, almost turn 1 both times, and like Pulsar comboed and all that kind of bullshit. So yeah, he too owed me, sacked the shit out of me. Round 4 was against Quasar. It still works without Gold Bulb and Spore. So it was honestly a very scary match. It was a 2-1 match. And what ended up winning is that for some reason I decided to side in Fossil Dynas against him. And round 3, I drew Fossil Dyna in open hand, summoned him, and passed. And I just sat on Fossil Dyna for a good couple turns until I could get my Fossil Dyna out of the way and just succeed into Lagia, and the next turn exceeded into Utopia. And then right after that he scooped, because he couldn't do utterly shit about either one of them. The last matchup for finals was against Karakuris. And the bad thing was, like, into this matchup, or into building my side deck for the locals, nobody plays windups, and nobody played Karakuris in forever. So I'm like, okay, Cyber Dragon isn't going to be that great. Chimera Tech is just going to take a spot in extra deck. So I sided him out and put in Fossil Dynas instead. Well, now up against Karakuris, I'm like, shit. I wish I put in my Cyber Dragons. But I too owed him. Here's the great thing about this deck. It causes a lot of fear, especially with decks that have to revolve around battle phase. Like, if they have a quick face up, which he had 2 of them on the field, and I had heavy back row, so he didn't want to exceed into Utopia and just run into something like a warning or some bullshit like that. And I sat on a set monster in heavy back row for a good 5 turns, and him never making a move. We were just sitting there just drawing cards. And the entire time he thought it was a set Westlow, and he didn't want to attack and trip it and I go off. No, it was a set effect Veiler, because that's the only monster I had in hand. So having the psychology of the Westlow and the Josho of stopping your opponent's plays and then going off, that's an absolute game-winning scenario of the psychology behind these two guys. So I just sat behind the Veiler. He decided to go off finally. I torrentialed, and then he was absolutely pissed when he saw that it was the Veiler. So right after that I made a Lagia, and right after that I made a Dolka, and he scooped right after that. So so X1 in the tournament, it was really, really great. Some cards I really want to note real quick. Number 30 Acid Golem of Destruction broke. I brought him out a couple times during the matchup. I decided to replace Leviathan for this guy, and he is so good. Definitely pick these guys up. They're awesome. And last card, Windup Zenmeister. I end up looping a guy and just playing for fun, and he scooped right after that. So yeah, that's the tournament report. Comment, like, subscribe. This is Vulturous, over and out.